Okay, we have Dr. Gilly Regev with us, which is really, really exciting, especially right now, because she is the co-founder and president of SaNOtize, which is a company that she's going to tell us more about. But let me just tell you her background. She has 20 years of experience in research and development in biochemistry. She spent the last 10 years in the field of nitric oxide, which is the NO in SaNOtize. And she has a PhD in biochemistry from Hebrew U, where I went for 1 year. So Gilly, you have been working like a maniac because your company is really important right now. So tell us what's happening.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. So yes, my company has pivoted recently, since we always had our platform technology, this treatment for flu prevention. But nitric oxide, it's a molecule that we all have in our body. We all produce it. Almost every cell in our body produces nitric oxide. So it's a natural molecule. But on top of that, nitric oxide can kill bacteria, viruses, fungi. So it kills any virus. So from an idea of a nasal spray to prevent flu, we quickly shifted into a nasal spray, nasal rinse to help fight COVID. We immediately started, we did a testing in the lab that we sent to the University of Utah to make sure that our formulation can really kill the virus, the SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID. And we went to Health Canada and submitted a full application to do a clinical trial, which we got approved.
It would be more of a therapeutic treatment or a preventative?
So it could be both. Oh. The idea originally was that you have this nasal spray in your pocket and you use it every time when you think you're exposed, where you get, when you might have been exposed, or when you feel like symptoms are coming, and whether it's a flu or COVID currently. There's actually quite a lot of evidence that's showing now that the whole infection, the whole COVID disease is starting from the epithelial cells in our nose. So if you can kill the virus when it's at that point, then you prevent from the progression of the disease. So if we can still use it early on the disease before it's becoming a full-blown infection, then we can stop the disease from progressing.
Now that you've been approved for the clinical trial, this is the question: how long do you think it will be until it can be rolled out to market? And are you noticing that the Canadian government is doing anything to accelerate this for you in particular?
There are lots of challenges. Getting a clinical trial up and running within 2-3 weeks, it's almost an impossible mission. And at times like this, you do get help. So the Canadian government got us the approval for the trial with Health Canada, got us the approval within 2 weeks, which is very fast. They did a quick review, they approved this. Now we are struggling mostly with getting the swabs, which are very hard to get here in BC. So we're looking to make sure that we have the swabs. You can't show that you actually prevented or treated the disease if you can't swab and test for it. So working with Life Labs on trying to get the swabs and getting this quickly done. We are getting got all the ethics approval, got everything up and running. We're going to do one kind of site here in British Columbia where we're looking for all the outbreak centers. So we're going to go and treat employees at care home facilities or wherever there's a big outbreak. So people that are at high risk, we'll give them this, and they're going to keep using it to show that this prevents them from getting sick. And we can also treat the people that are already positive. We're doing the same thing we're looking for another site, potentially in Ontario, Quebec, to start this as well. So we're hoping to get it done starting within the next 2 weeks. And then after that, we have maybe a month and a half of enrollment and getting it quickly done. And then the goal is to go, assuming we got the positive results, then to go back to Health Canada and said, here, we got results, we show that this could work, let's expedite this and get a quick approval to start giving it to people that need it.
So how far away, if everything went smoothly, is that 6 months?
Hopefully less.
Oh.
That's the goal. The idea is that we will be able to give it to people to be able to go back to life before we have the vaccine. We're still at least a year away from a vaccine, and we need some type of solution to be able to just move on. So we're hoping that we will show the efficacy in the trial, and this can be expedited.
When you
feel, oh, sorry.
About COVID-19, like when were you aware of this before everyone's March 12th date, or were you?
Yeah. No, I think in January they were already talking about this, and then when I actually traveled to a big conference in Israel in February, and at that point it was already, everyone was looking for a hand sanitizer, and everyone was looking for kind of idea of solutions. So then at that point we said, okay, we'd better ramp this up and see if we can help.
Mm.
Does it feel like a bit of a race, a global race?
It's more than a race. It's really it's like running in a crazy pace, but in a marathon where it goes every day. We are probably working on that for 2 months, which is nonstop all the time. There is day, night, just to get whatever we can done. And when there are things that sometimes beyond our control, then we're trying to reach out to the BC government and see if they can help us get this trial quickly, and just trying to reach out to people that can help just push this so we can get it done quickly.
And how confident do you feel that if you have this, like if something like SaNOtize is approved, do you feel the comfort in getting out there and opening things up, stores, travel, school, it will move forward until we have a vaccine?
I believe that, yeah, if we show the right efficacy, I don't go anywhere without this nasal spray. I fly with this nasal spray always. The idea is to really prevent from getting sick and kill the virus where it's still in the nasal area. So I think that if this really shows the efficacy we expect in the clinical trial, then everyone should have it in their pocket.
And can you buy it?
No, I can make it in the lab, but no, we don't have approval. I can only experiment on myself, and until we have approval, I can't give it away. Vancouver for chronic sinusitis. So that's another treatment that we're doing. And we're also starting a clinical trial for diabetic foot ulcer. So we've got all kind of different indication. The idea is that nitric oxide, it increases blood flow, it reduces inflammation, it kills bacteria, viruses, fungi. So it does so many amazing things. You just have to make sure you get it at the right time, to the right place, at the right dose.
And then with production, like assuming you come out of the clinical trials and you're given the green light for production, how are you in lockstep working with a rollout strategy for fulfillment?
So we already contacted a few facilities in Canada to see if they can ramp up production very quickly. It's not a very complicated process, so I think that's possible. I think that within 2 weeks they can start kind of ramping up production. So hopefully that's going to be the less complicated part.
Okay.
And are you collaborating with a hospital in Israel too?
We are looking for a similar trial to do in Israel. On the regulatory side, Israel is a little bit more challenging. The problem is originally we thought we'll do this study on healthcare employees. So people that are working in emergency room in the hospital, but these people today in our world are very, very well protected. They don't get sick. So if we can show that our control arm does get sick, then we can prove that our treatment arm doesn't. So it's this balance that you have to find places that people are getting sick, that are really people at risk. And I think hospitals today, people would get sick if they're not using all the protective, but all the PPEs that they have protect them from getting sick.
Well, it's very exciting. So what you and your family, you're super busy and your husband's super busy. What is it like at your house with homeschooling and are you seeing any silver linings of outside of creating the biggest silver lining that this might be a therapeutic and a preventative? What about your family life?
I think in some ways it brings us all together. We usually meet at dinner time, all of us, and everyone is doing a little piece of the dinner and we're bringing it all together. And I think that's kind of the time when we talk about our day and what happened. And during the day, each one of us is trying to find a quiet spot in the house. So everyone is buried somewhere else. It's kind of nice having my two boys at home now. Mm-hmm. So that's on that positive side, but good. I think we manage this.
And are most of your relatives still in Israel?
Yes, my whole family is in Israel.
And they're all doing fine?
Yes, it's been challenging. Israel was much more restrictive compared to us here, and they at some point, I think my sister's biggest complaint was that she can't go out running because they were not allowed more than 100 meters out of their house. So
I heard that. But
they're just reopened and started going back. So hopefully, it's not going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scare that's the thing we're all scared of.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Gilly. It was so nice to talk to you. That was great.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming on. Thank you.
Be well.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.